Hi everyone, it's Niall and Tomas from niallpoints.com, and we are back with another reaction video. We are continuing our series of Eurovision 2024 entries, and this time we're going to be reacting to Serbia's song for Eurovision. It is Ramonda by Teya Dora. She won her national selection, and we are just about to check out her national final performance. So let's get into it.
Is this the music video? But it says national final performance.
Yeah. Oh, it is.
Teya Dora's trying to confuse us.
Good vocal.
Yeah.
See, I like this visual. It's very simple, but it's effective.
Oh, I like that lyric. I scream, but the sound doesn't come out. This is lovely.
Giving me a bit of Greece 2022 vibes.
I love that song. I think everything about this sort of staging really works as well.
Yeah, it's a very good staging. As we're used to from Serbia, really.
I was just about to say it feels like it's missing a bit of oomph, but I think let's roll it a little bit here at the end.
I like the lightning as well. It's a nice touch. Okay.
Ooh, that was Ramonda. Thomas, what do you think of Ramonda?
Well, as far as Balkan ballads go, I'm not usually a big fan of Balkan ballads. It always sort of goes a little over my head. But this one is very nice. It's very beautiful. I like the lyrics as well. Thank God for English translations on these videos. So you actually know what they're singing about. I really like this. I kind of like that it's very soft and it's very demure, and then it has that sort of, let's call it a minor explosion at the end, because it did give me chills when it kicked in. I think her vocal is very, very good. I think this could be one that does really well with the juries, although we've said that about several countries so far, so it's still anyone's guess. But yeah, I really like that. I like the staging as well. I really like the visual at the start of the video where she's lying down on the stage and it's just the smoke sort of going over her and then the spotlight behind her. It's so simple and so effective. And I think with some elevated staging, this could potentially be a moment in Malmö. Because we do have a lot of up-tempo songs. We have a lot of, big stagings to come. So this one could be, a moment where it gets quiet, where people are sort of mesmerized and sort of transfixed in the performance. So I think Serbia could do rather well this year. But I find it hard to predict, because it's still, even though I like this performance, and I quite like the song. It's still not my personal, like I wouldn't listen to this. I wouldn't put this on my Spotify list. So I find it difficult to sort of predict how it's going to do. But I can definitely appreciate it.
Yeah, I've got it on my Eurovision 2024 playlist, and I have been listening to that on shuffle, trying to just get an idea of where do I actually rank these songs. If you're not just looking at them, like actually listening to them, how do you feel? And this is quite jarring when it comes up, because it comes up in the middle of all these bangers, and it's such a gear change to get this sort of really soft, demure ballad, as you say. Like it is really nice. Ballads aren't normally my cup of tea at all. I'm not a big, massive fan of a slow song. That's just my personality and my vibe. But I do like this. I think I said during the recording, I was really glad that they gave that last chorus a bit of oomph, because it just felt like it was lacking something. It's a bit of a worry that it doesn't give it a bit of oomph until the last moment. Like there's just, for a couple of minutes, it just seems somewhat lost. There's no sort of real vision of where it's going to go. It does get there, but I just wish it got there a little bit sooner, or there was just more of like a build up to it. It does come quite sudden towards the end, but overall it's a nice song. I think this is staged beautifully. They don't need to do anything different in terms of staging. In a televote only semi, I'm not sure. That's a little bit difficult, especially with.
Let me just check quickly what semi Serbia's in. They're in semi-final 1, and they're in there with Ukraine, Cyprus, Poland, Lithuania, Croatia, Ireland, Slovenia, Iceland, Finland, Portugal, Luxembourg, Australia, Azerbaijan, and Moldova. I'm trying to see if there's countries in there that could give them some support. I'm thinking, because I always find it hard with Serbia and diaspora and televoting, because we do know that there have in the past been some conflict between Serbia and some other Balkan countries. But if we look at Balkans, we do have Croatia in there. We have Slovenia in there. I don't know if Slovenia is really considered Balkan. I have no idea. I'm really bad at geography, by the way.
We're not doing Eurovision reviews based on our geographical facts.
No, but I'm just trying to think: is there enough support for Serbia to get through in an all televote semi? Because we do see that Greece is in semifinal 2, as is, I'm going to say Albania, but I don't think Serbia would have to expect a lot of votes from Albania anyway.
I think when you were going through the list of people who are performing in semi-final 1, the one that would worry me if I was Serbia would be the fact that I'm going up against Ukraine, because they've got not necessarily a ballad, but it is a powerful song. There's ballad moments, there's rap moments in there, but it just feels a little bit more elevated, a little bit more accessible. Potentially, that would be my biggest competition that I would look at. Not necessarily that I think they could both qualify easily. That's not an issue, but they would be my competition in that semi. I think. Also,
both of them are in the first half, so depending on where they draw, that could also have an effect on the results. I do think everyone needs to be scared of Ukraine. Ukraine is just going to do really well because it's just a fantastic song. So. I mean, apart from Croatia, I don't see a lot of countries that normally vote for Serbia, out of a diaspora, perspective.
I think in terms of song, though, people might just not care necessarily what country it is too much, and maybe be like, "Oh, this was quite a nice song. I'm going to maybe vote for it." But is it enough to actually make people go, "This is a lovely song. I am voting for this," or is Windows 95 man going to, take those votes because people pay more attention to that, it grabs them a little bit more. I don't know. But it's a lovely song. I don't think there's much that needs to be changed. I would like a little bit more oomph. That's the only way I can describe it. A little bit more oomph. But yeah, it's lovely, and I do think it'll qualify, and ultimately.
Yeah, and I do think, because I have made a bit of a, we're not going to get into who qualifies and doesn't. We're going to do that later in a separate video. But I have sort of tried to come up with what I think are the countries that will qualify, certainly, which countries will probably not qualify, and sort of the ones that are on the fence. I do have Serbia as a certain qualifier myself, because I just think the song is good enough, and I think the staging is very pretty, so it's going to be visually appealing. What worries me more than them qualifying is when they do get to the final, we do have, there's France in there, who is one of the few other ballots that we have this year, who we are already certain of will be there in the final. And I feel like, because when you said it takes a little while for the Serbian song to sort of explode, to sort of go anywhere. Whereas with the French entry, it's very, there's a lot more ups and downs in that one. It's not as linear. So, and there's Sliman's vocals that are insanely good. He did that moment, I think, in
Croatia,
in the Croatian national final, where he just stood like a couple of meters behind the mic and belted out. I mean, that is something that the juries are going to appreciate loads. So I think if it does make it to the final and it's up against someone like France, that could potentially trouble them a bit. There is obviously Ukraine in the mix. Also, Portugal, I think, has a bit of a similar vibe. It's also quite like slow, bit ballady, bit traditional. I can see Azerbaijan in the same semi as well, which is more up tempo, but it also has a bit of that traditional vibe. It's also a bit of a mixture between pop and traditional elements. So that So this is my mom's dog.
Oh, I just got a fright. I just saw him.
He's like, I want attention. So obviously, Brutus, my mom's dog, loves the Serbian entry. So he can't vote, unfortunately. But
you can ask your mum to vote on his behalf.
I don't think I can, because it's semi-final one.
In the final, though.
Oh, in the final, yeah. So anyway, there he goes. So anyway, that's it. That's what I want to say. So they don't have a lot of competition, but the competition that they do have in this genre, because even France is quite traditional. It's very French, It doesn't have any whistles or trumpets or drums or anything, but it does have a very traditional vibe. So I do think they have strong competition.
Yeah.
But yeah, qualify. I don't see any trouble for them qualifying. I think they should be okay.
I think so. It's a lovely song, and I'm sure it will do well with the juries when it gets into the final as well. But that's it for Serbia. That was Teya Dora and our views on her song Ramonda. Please do like and subscribe to the channel and ring the little bell to get notifications of when we post a new video. You can keep up to date at Niall blog on Twitter and Instagram, and niallpoints.com. You can follow me at Niall on Twitter and Instagram. And
you can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Paidatum Edihuya.
And we will see you again next time. Bye.
Bye.